Welcome everyone to this Baka session of Introduction to Competitive Carrom, and I'll explain what that is. My name is Panna. I am a Baka volunteer. Baka stands for Bay Area Carrom Association. We are a non-profit, and the president of Baka is right behind you, Chandu. He runs the whole organization with the...
Yes, I'm the vice president now. Yes.
And we have a lot of volunteers. Vish is a volunteer, Ashok is a volunteer, Madhu is a volunteer.
Madhu is also actually Baka committee.
And all of us, have a shared goal of promoting Carrom in the Bay Area. And we are part of the larger United States Carrom Association, whose goal, of course, is to promote Carrom all of North America, not just US. Today's session will be broken up into two parts. I will spend roughly 45 minutes to 1 hour talking, demoing, and then after that we will have everyone sit on those boards. Each board will have one Baka expert walking you through, reinforcing what we learned in the initial session. But before I start, let's give a big round of applause to our host, gracious host, Vish. Thank you for hosting us here. I know it's a lot of work, but hope everyone gets something out of this session. Why do we call it Intro to Competitive Carrom? Most of us have grown up playing recreational Carrom at home with friends, with family. Some of us may have played at college. Some of us have played in informal tournaments or maybe even formal tournaments. One big difference between recreational and competitive Carrom is stakes are higher, rules are enforced. So maybe a good start would be to talk about rules, right? What are the rules? Common questions are, is thumbing allowed? Yes. International rules, thumbing is allowed. I know there are some parts of India where people don't play thumbing, but international rules, thumbing is allowed. Can I hit an opponent's coin directly? Yes, you can. Nothing stopping you. No dues, no penalty. So if I'm playing black and my opponent's coin is right here, there's nothing stopping from going like this and blasting it out of the board. Allowed.
What if it goes in?
Then they get
They get a point.
I mean, your intent is to try and make it difficult for the opponent to pocket and make it easier for you. And in the process of doing that, there are some rules you have to follow. There are some rules that are kind of a misconception. So I want to clear those misconceptions first. Thumbing is allowed. You can touch opponent's coin directly. Any other questions?
Arrow marks we cannot hit. Arrow.
I will go over arrow.
Thumb with both hands.
Good question.
Yeah.
So in the same turn, let's say I'm playing white and I have 2 coins like this. I can start by going like this, and it's perfectly okay for me to go like this. Totally allowed.
So the first one, can it be thumbing?
Anytime.
Anytime.
Anytime. Thumbing is like any other regular shot.
So can we hit like this?
The rules say that you can hit like this finger, you can hit like this, you can hit like this. Anything is allowed except you cannot go like this. This is not allowed. Your elbow or any part of the body needs to be off the field. So a common mistake people make and get penalized is when they have a coin like this, they go this way. That's a foul. So you have to be very careful. Even if you have to go, you kind of position yourself like this. And similarly, if you have a coin that's going in that pocket, there's a tendency, let me just go all the way and hit it. This imaginary line, this arrow, is a boundary. Not just for your hands, even your legs. So you can't go like this. You cannot cut this line. You cannot cut these lines.
Within that, those two.
Your body has to stay within these imaginary lines that extend from these arrows. More common rules. Can I go half ball? So if I have a coin here, my striker is on red partially. That's a foul. The striker has to either cover the red circle completely or stay away from it. It cannot be like this. It cannot be like this.
How about hitting the
Upon like this. Yeah. So another common question is, if this coin is on this arrow or this line or this ball,
Anywhere in
you can hit anywhere. The coin can be anywhere on the board, you can hit it. There is no restriction.
But except on
Except
your
for
own.
your red, I guess.
Like this you can't hit. I can hit.
You can start with this. How would you hit that?
How do you do that?
So if this is here and I want to pocket this, I would go like this.
Oh.
Is it allowed? Yes. So anything on any part of the board, anyone's coins, black, white, red, you can hit directly or indirectly. There is no such constraint, there is no such limitation.
So this outer ring, then what does it have any meaning?
Not really, not really. So this circle or these baselines, they help you guide where to put your striker, and the rules are, like I said, this circle. The other rule, important rule, is your striker must touch both the baselines. It doesn't have to completely cover, but it has to touch. So this is not allowed.
So following up with that,
Mhm.
let's say I get nervous
Okay,
and I hit something like this.
that's a foul. And that happens a lot. So the nervous part is where competitive carom comes in. You know, I can sit here and I can guarantee it, if you give me these 4 coins, I can pretty much pocket them with my eyes closed. In a tournament, it's a different story. Even this simple coin becomes really, really hard because your hands are going like this. That's why practice is important. The more you practice, more you play tournaments, the more you're likely to get over your nerves. So a lot of people say, unless I get over nerves, I'm not going to play in a tournament. I'm going to recommend the best way to get over your nerves is participate in tournaments. Baka organizes tournaments every month in the Bay Area. In Cupertino, in Fremont, in Milpitas. But every month we do singles, doubles tournaments. If you're on a lounge, you'll get notifications. We have a tournament next Saturday in Cupertino. The best way to really, understand the nuances of carom is participate in these tournaments. And nerves, even top players get hit by nerves, but it gets better as you play more and more. And as you put yourself in pressure situations, you get better control. Questions? Rules? Scoring?
Coming back to that elbow thing that you
Uh-huh.
mentioned, the elbow should not cross the double line or it should not cross the
So the rule says no part of your body except your hand, and the hand is defined as anything
Palm,
over this
yeah.
part, palm, back of the palm. No part of the hands should be on top of the playing area, and this is considered the playing area. So what that means is I can rest my hand on this, that's fine, right? I can go like this, that's fine too. I can even rest my palm on the board while playing, that's okay too. What is not okay is going like this. I'm holding this board. In fact, I'm also not allowed to hold the chair. So I cannot go like this. You cannot take support of the chair, you cannot take support of any part of the board, so you cannot hold. So only part of your body that's playing should be your playing hand, nothing else, on top of the playing hand. Which basically means you can't go like this, you can't go like this. Now, there are some situations where
No,
it's
but-
ambiguous.
But how do you hit like this
Mhm.
downward your line?
Good question. So let's say the coin is here,
Yeah,
and I want to hit it like this.
Right.
It's kind of hard.
yeah.
So I encourage you to go this way. Once easy.
Okay.
Some situations where it gets really hard, even to do that, if I want to pocket the
Right,
white,
yeah.
right? So you have to be careful. Don't go here. Just go here. You can still pocket the coin,
Got it.
but don't go like this.
The-
You'll get caught.
The elbow should be outside the playing
Okay.
area.
Okay. As long as you maintain this elbow inside the frame, you're kind of okay.
Got it.
This is not it.
So what's
And-
the penalty of doing that?
Good question. So let's go to dues and penalties.
Sorry, Pranav, before I go to penalties,
Sure.
about the chair, the other thing is you cannot move the chair during the, when you're playing. When the set is over, you can adjust your chair. You can move yourself within the chair, but you can't move the chair. So what it means is you can actually move to the left, move to the right, but cannot move the chair. Right? You can move within the chair.
So this is very common. You see my hand, and now how I'm doing this. So I want to play this. I play like this. Next coin I want to take that one. I will go like this, and I will do this. What I cannot do is get up from the chair, walk around, and sit like that. You forfeit the game right away. You cannot, in the middle of the board, you cannot go get a drink or a chai. You're sitting on the board, you sit on the ring. There are specific rules.
Yeah, this is in tournament, to be very specific. But we encourage to sort of do this when you're also practicing so that you get used to it.
So this is the difference between competitive carrom and recreational carrom. Recreational carrom is okay to talk with your partner, and
Oh, you
competitive
can't
is
talk.
not.
Yeah.
There are, so let's talk about the scoring. And there are some parts of the game where you can talk, some parts of the game where you cannot. So the scoring is 25 points, right? Whoever gets to 25 points wins. In tournaments, there is usually also a time constraint. So all tournaments in North America typically is 25 points, or 8 boards, or 45 minutes, whatever happens first. So if you are in the 20th minute, score is 25-0, you win. If you are in the 45th minute, you are at 15, I'm at 12, you win. If, yeah,
So what, 45 minutes, let's say you hit that boundary, then you're playing, your play is not yet over.
it's a hard stop, we'll count the coins, we'll take the difference.
Count the coins.
There's some detailed rules around that edge case, but in general, 25 points, 8 boards, or 45 minutes, whatever happens first. Now, going back to the question of talking. So, in the middle of a board, you cannot communicate, you cannot talk with your partner, you cannot do hand signals. You cannot just stare at the coin and say, pocket that one. No. But after the board is over, and before the next board starts, you can discuss with your partner. You know, like, oh, maybe you should have played that coin, maybe you should have played that one. Once the board starts, that's it again, pin drop silence.
No gestures, nothing.
No.
No indication.
False.
You can't go, take that one. Or you can't go like this if your partner plays that shot. The referee will call a foul. It's recreational carrom is more fun that way because you can discuss and everything, but competitive carrom, you're not. Is anyone here a chess player? Anyone plays chess? Do you play competitive chess?
Not much.
So there are rules in chess, like for example, recreational, you can play a move. Competitive chess says
One.
once you touch a coin, you have to play that coin. Same thing. Like competitive chess, you are supposed to write the moves. Here, you know, again, those are the rules. So from a game perspective, skill, strategies, it's the same. Recreational, competitive. What changes is the enforcement of the rules. And like Chad was saying, we encourage you to highly follow the same rules even when you're playing recreational. So in the Bay Area, we have a lot of recreational sessions, but we try our best to follow the rules as if we are playing in a tournament, because that prepares us for the tournament. So when we play like weekend sessions, we play seriously, we enforce all the rules. If somebody, you know, plays like this, the other opponent calls them down. So that way it prepares you for the tournament, it prepares for the nerves. Because if you play under stress in a garage sessions like this, you'll find it easier to not get nervous when you're playing a tournament. Questions?
The powder,
Uh-huh.
when are you supposed to, let's say you the player,
Yeah.
the opponent is trying to smudge the board,
Okay.
then when are
So,
you supposed to
good
put the
question.
powder?
So the only time you can put the powder is before the board starts, right? But there are some rules around removing the powder in the middle of a board, especially. So let's say I'm going to break, right? What I have to do is I have to rack up my coins as best as I can to line them up, and then I kind of put a little bit of powder to my liking. The player who's going to break decides how much powder should be available. The rule says it should be distributed uniformly. Opponents are technically not supposed to touch, but as a courtesy or as a common practice, people do. As long, as long as it's all even. You can't have so much powder on your side and nothing on the opponent's side. Not allowed. After I'm done all of that, I have to ask for permission to break. I cannot just go and break. So I say break. In a tournament there'll be a referee, if there's no referee, my opponent will say yes. And what would they say yes for? Saying everything's lined up well, there's no coins sticking out of the circle and the powder is distributed evenly. I play the break, I take a couple of coins, Harish takes a couple of coins, now it's my turn. Can I remove this powder? Yes. Can I remove that powder?
No.
So anything around my baseline, it's kind of okay to do this. I cannot go and go like this. That's a foul. And in recreational carrom, you often see this happening. I've seen this like so many times. Harish gives my turn, right? So first thing I do is I go like this a few times. You cannot do it. It's very common for people to just take a striker, try out a few practice things, and then go. We can do that before a break, not in the middle of a board. Questions?
And also to add on that, we cannot remove the powder at the pockets while board is happening, while the board is in progress. Only you can clean up before the break, before you put in board.
Let's talk a little bit about how tournaments are conducted. So typical tournaments are one-day tournaments. You get to play about 6 to 9 games. So when we do our monthly Bay Area tournaments, there will typically be 5 rounds which everyone will play. We call them Swiss round robin. It's not elimination at that point. After those 5 rounds are played, we tally the scores and we say, okay, here are the people that are the top 8. They're going to play each other for elimination, semi-final, quarter-final, etc., etc. And for each of those rounds, it's again 45 minutes, 25, etc. So we start at 8 in the morning and typically 6 in the evening. Same format is followed in nationals. There may be a second day for doubles and maybe a third day for finals and stuff like that. But that's very, very typical. We do monthly tournaments here. National tournaments are like twice a year. There is one US Nationals. There's a US Open. US Nationals is mostly US players, and US Open is where we invite players from other countries like India, Canada, etc. Last year, we also sent a team US to play in the World Cup in Malaysia, and we got 5th place in men's and 2nd place in women's. And one of the interesting things I like about this game, again similar to chess, it's gender agnostic, as in there's no, even though we have separate brackets in chess for women's and men, Carrom also, but truly there's nothing in this game that says, men are better players than women or anything like that. The top player from the A area lives in Fremont. She is currently training with the current world champion in Pune, but she beats all of us hands down. She's really, really good. But like I said, it's not a game which is has any inherent advantages for any gender or any race or anything like that. So that makes it really from a tournament perspective, it's a level playing field for anyone and everyone. And you may think, you know what, I'm not really good, this guy's a good player, I can't beat him. That is not true. On a tournament day, you will find so many upsets. Anybody can win. So you may think that a player who has lots of experience may be a better player, maybe, but doesn't mean you cannot win. The upsets are very, very common. So again, I highly encourage you to play in Baka tournaments because there is no replacement for that kind of experience. You learn so much just by playing in those tournaments. You meet players of all levels, beginner, intermediate, experts. You learn all the rules really, really well as they are, implemented in a tournament strictly. And you learn the strategies, advanced Carrom strategies. So what do I mean by advanced Carrom strategies? So
I think before that, just the World Cup, we had a couple of players representing US in the World Cup. Panna and Madhu were part of that team. They represented US in the World Cup, so just FYI.
Yeah.
So
We've all grown up playing recreational Carrom, and at some point all of us have said, okay, I want to learn more. I have played Carrom in my college days, not competitive. We didn't have tournaments in Delhi. I used to play in my college and stuff, but nothing competitive. No state tournaments or anything like that. I started playing 4 years ago, and I started, a similar situation where one of our, Baka founders, Bala, he said, okay, I'll teach you what is competitive Carrom. So he taught me how to play, what are the rules. I asked him the same question that you're asking me, what is thumbing? What is this? And he taught me all of these rules again, and he taught me how to avoid making those mistakes. And like Chandu mentioned, it's been 4 years, and I've been fortunate enough to play in a lot of state tournaments, national tournaments, international tournaments, and learn a lot. Each time you meet a player, you learn a unique style. You learn how they tackle nerves. Everyone has a different strategy. They play different situations differently, and you would think that maybe playing this way is better than playing that way. I've seen really good players playing this way and not missing anything. So there is no inherent advantage to a striker or a grip or anything like that. It's just what works for you, right? So you'll see different people playing with different strikers. There are rules around the strikers. Can be 15 grams of material. You can't play with ivory and stuff, but it is a personal choice. Some people like like a straight cut or this or that. Whatever works for you is a good striker.
So are you allowed to bring your own striker?
You're highly encouraged to bring your own striker. In fact, most players stick to their own striker and they play with their own striker. I will probably play with this striker in every weekend session, every tournaments. Some people like switching strikers. Some people will experiment with a few and then stick with one. So yes, everyone is encouraged to have one personal striker, and in fact that's the only thing you bring to a tournament. Baka provides everything else: the boards, the lamps, the powders, even food. You just show up with your striker. You play a whole day of Carrom with a bunch of players. You go home happy, with or without a trophy, but you gain a lot of experience and a lot of insight. I'll pause there. Questions?
So, one question.
Sure.
So when a pawn is pocketed,
Mm-hmm.
do you, the opposite player or yourself, you have to take it out or let it stay there?
You let it stay. All the pockets are designed
So
to
you don't
hold a
touch
lot
it?
of points. You don't touch. In fact, you can get fouled if you touch.
That's it.
So for example, a typical thing I've seen people do is, you go like this, right? You'll break, and you'll go, okay, let me just break and see. Oh, I can't see anything white.
Yeah,
That's a foul.
that's
That's a foul right there. You cannot do that. The best way to find out if a coin has been pocketed or not is count. I have 8 coins on the board, there should be 9, I pocketed 1. I don't care which pocket got it. As long as I got one, I continue playing.
I'm just curious why this rule was made.
The reason for a lot of the rules in Carrom are to prevent you from changing the position of the coins on the board. So when you do this, you may accidentally move this guy here. Or a common problem is, I played a shot, retrieving my striker, I touch the coin. So anything that disturbs the board or the position of the board is usually a problem.
So what about things in
You don't touch that coin.
Just leave it,
You have to
You
leave
try to
it.
pocket it as is.
Another
So
common.
what I've been taught is
No,
you put it
no, you cannot. So another common mistake like that is, you hit a coin and the coin is going like this and you pick up your striker. You cannot. Have to wait for the whole thing to have settled, then you pick up your striker, then you play the next shot.
How about pawns which are going out of your board?
Right, good question. So if a coin jumps, they come back on the board, they come back in the center. If the center is occupied, they come back on the closest point in the center. There's some detailed rules around it about it should be on the opposite side and stuff like that, but
who
yes.
places it? Like opponent?
If there's an umpire, the umpire places it. If there's no umpire, then the opponent places it. And as a matter of courtesy, usually people don't not that. As long as it's played correctly. The foul, however, has to be placed by the opponent. So if you play this shot and you kind of pocket both, then this coin comes out, one more black comes out, and the opponent will put them wherever they want. There are lots of detailed rules, I'll not get into those.
Yeah.
There are rules like you
Basic
put it
ones.
here and you move it, once you take your finger off, you cannot touch it again. But let's not go there, those are
Yeah.
really.
Striker also need to keep that.
Yeah. But in general, the due or the foul or the penalty comes back and the opponent goes. Questions?
Do fouls happen in the tournaments?
A lot.
A lot.
So
Like in
the kind of foul where the striker goes in does happen a lot. The kind of foul where somebody touches the coin, not so much. Because, once you train yourself, you play a few times, you know what to avoid. And unless you're really careless, which you should not be, some people still tend to talk and regret it instantly. What else? Common fouls during tournaments other than the pocketing of the striker is
Talk is one thing, but any sigh or sorry,
It's usually
that's okay.
yeah. So good shot.
Yeah.
Someone plays a shot, it's a good shot, it's usually okay. anything that's an indication of cheating, as in telling your partner what to play, that's cheating. That is not allowed. But yeah, nobody's going to
Many a
stop.
time a frustration sets in when a simple enough shot doesn't go, then
That's fine.
okay.
Any bridge players here? So bridge also has this doubles thing, where people come up with weird codes. If I cough twice, you should play a spades. I mean, if you're really motivated, you can do that in Carrom also,
Yeah, exactly.
but please don't. Any question on tournaments or local tournaments or global tournaments or how?
So
we-
you have mentioned a little bit of singles versus doubles.
Okay. So singles versus doubles is pretty straightforward. The rules are in doubles you have a pair and it rotates and you just play and the strategies are a little different. In singles you're playing yourself, you try to pocket, the coins on that side, these are easy, those are difficult, so you try to pull everything. In doubles you're also trying to block the other person from playing, so strategies tend to be a little different. Basic pocketing skills, pretty much the same.
In singles, there's no specific pawns you.
So same as singles, same as doubles, which is you alternate black and white. So one board I will pocket all the whites and queen. Next board I will pocket all the blacks and queen. Doubles as a team you do the same. So you and your partner will pocket the same color coins.
Is it clockwise or anti-clockwise?
What is this? Anti-clockwise.
So you can just, when you're hunting, you can pull all the coins together.
That is the goal in singles. So in singles, you'll see one difference in the break itself. So in a singles break, you will want to get all the coins to your side, so you'll do what is called a reverse break. And the reverse break is a little harder, but very, very effective. You line up the coins either in this direction or in this direction, and you hit a rebound to get the coins on your side. So all the coins come this
So
way.
hit it in the middle and then it comes.
The idea is to place your striker here,
So
hit it on this arrow, hit it here, and this whole line.
But before that, why you do reverse that way?
To get the coins on my side.
Because you are
It's a
starting
natural
from-
advantage to me because that makes it difficult for my opponent. Harish will have a hard time pocketing this one, but if I do a doubles break, which is typically this way, much easier,
For their partner.
these coins will end up here, and I will be at a disadvantage, and Harish will easily pocket those. So I don't want to give him that disadvantage, that advantage. And in a tournament, in competitive carrom, every little thing makes a big, big difference. So you may find that you played this one casually and didn't go. That can prove very, very expensive because you will not get a turn. And the difference between players at competitive level is so little that every little thing counts. So when we practice, we don't just practice for pocketing 50% of the time. We try to get that number much higher. 100% is really, really hard. No matter, even if you're the world champion, even a world champion cannot say I'll pocket it 10 out of 10 times. But, with decent practice, you can get to a point where you can pocket this coin maybe 7 to 8 out of 10 times. This one maybe little, like again 8 or 9 out of times. But again, in a tournament, that same coin which looks easy in the garage can become really difficult because your hands are shaking. So the competitive carrom teaches you to get not just better at your skills, but also controlling nerves and figuring out how to get better at preventing the opponent from having an advantage. So it's not just about pocketing coins, it's also about blocking. For example, if I'm playing white and Harish is playing black, and I have something like this, right? It's very tempting for me to kind of pocket this one and then pocket this one, right? But, you might actually think about not doing that. You might think about,
I'm blocking this.
so now I've made life difficult for him. And it's not just okay, it's actually encouraged. So don't take pity on your opponent. Your job is to make your opponent's life difficult.
But,
Anyway.
Then you will lose your pawn, right?
Yes, so they said
Depends.
it depends on the situation. If say these are the two last points, there's nothing else on the board, then
You
I will
want to
finish.
get it, yeah.
But let's say I have 7 white coins and this is the only black coin he has.
Oh, then,
Then I have to play defense. So when you play offense, when you play defense, you have to decide
Situation.
strategy and how you play, and very simple shots. So for example, let's say these are the only 3 coins left, right? Or not 3 coins. I have like 7 coins on the board. He has, that's the last one. And I have to play this, I have to play that, I have to play that. What I might think of doing is, in the same shot, I will try and pocket this and try to make this a little more difficult so he can't pocket it. And I'm buying myself a turn. So instead of counting coins, you start counting turns. How many turns am I going to get? Competitive Carrom says, the more turns you get, the likelihood of your winning. So try to buy yourself turns. So instead of playing it straight like that, what I will do is I will try to do something to make that coin difficult. So change the direction of my striker. So I still pocket this guy, but I try to make the black come here or something like that. So and these shots are a little advanced, so they need a little more practice, but
wow.
not quite the intended effect, but
Yeah, but still, yeah.
that's why you need practice. You have to get these
Get this.
little more difficult is better than keeping it easy. So sometimes,
To be
yeah, sometimes it's actually much easier to play like these.
Mm.
That's his last coin. I have 4 coins. What I will do is I'll push this coin in this gap and move the black out. Much better. But the intent is, how can I buy myself more turns? Questions?
So
Okay.
in the tournament, I have seen that they all try to do more thumbing.
Yes.
Is that encouraged more?
So if you are successful in pulling all your coins towards you, yes. Thumbing is usually considered easier. So for example, if I have 4 coins on the board, one is here, one is here, one is here, one is here, I'm going to say this is probably the easiest, followed by this, followed by this, followed by this. So I'll probably go, this, then I'll go this, and then I'll go this one. This is the hardest. So often, I will try to do something to make that coin easier. So I take this, and again I try the same thing I tried with the black earlier. I go like this, and I make that coin easier while pocketing this. So if I can bring it here, now it's easier.
So general rule of thumb is
Strategy.
closer it is to you, to your
Yes, that's a very good point. The closer the coin is to you, the easier it is, except when the coin is on this side. So this is the hardest part of the board. For me, these 2 coins are the hardest.
So what's the rule around this? I've heard about it's like this. You have to be both sides.
If I'm playing from this side and this coin is here,
Can
I can definitely touch this coin, and there are 3 ways to pocket it. One is you go rebound, right? One you go the other direction rebound. It's harder. The third is called a double touch, which usually is actually the safest option.
Oh,
But again,
control the speed.
yeah, or you could do something like, let me try to use that coin to pocket this guy, right? So you go something like that to bring this guy. So competitive Carrom, you're trying to gain an advantage, and to gain an advantage, you have to do offense, you have to do defense, and you have to learn advanced shots. Advanced shots are unexplored territory. I mean, you can get really, really creative, and the combinations are infinite, more than chess. So nobody will tell you that I've mastered all possible combinations in Carrom. I can play all these shots. You can always come up with new ones. And some people are really, really creative, and they come up with such nice ways to release a coin or block a coin. It's just amazing. So I'll give you an example. We ran a puzzle in December, North America wide, and we said, okay, you pocket this queen. It was, I think like this. We said, okay, we'll pose this question to all of North American players and see how many people are successfully able to pocket the queen. And the obvious answer is 0. The actual answer was close to 75 or something. 75 different unique solutions to pocketing that queen in these pockets. So the possibilities are really infinite. You just have to get creative and So you may think, let's take a situation where you are playing white, right? And you may think, okay, I'm completely blocked. I don't have anything going, right? I'm playing white. Black obviously has a finish. But if you are a competitive player, a little bit of advanced stage, you will see a way to finish the finish the whites. You will basically say, okay, there's a shot here where I can follow this striker. So you'll go something like this. This one is blocked this way, and guess what? There's a shot called a punch shot, where you can go something like this. So as you get more and more familiar with competitive Carrom, all of these patterns will become, in chess you see a mate in 4, you see a knight fork. In Carrom, you'll start seeing these patterns, and what may seem an obviously difficult one to play becomes easier. Question?
One question. In doubles, you said there is no talking in anything in competitive Carrom, but usually in doubles we keep discussing the strategies during the play. So how does that actually work in a console?
So you have to do a lot of homework. You have to pair up with a partner. You have to kind of get an understanding with your partner, saying, look, I find it difficult to pocket these coins. So if you see a coin like this, please pocket it first.
Okay. So you decide everything before
You
the
decide
game.
everything beforehand, so that in game time you don't have to. Your partner should know. Your partner should know your game, your strengths, your weaknesses, and then play in tandem with you. So it's kind of hard to join a tournament and pair up with a random partner for those reasons. A lot of people, they try to keep their partners the same because of that understanding. And often, it's as simple as this coin. I may find it very easy, another player may find it very difficult. And so, as Harish's doubles partner, if I know that Harish finds that one difficult, I should prioritize that over pocketing this one. Because this is a common coin. He can pocket it here, I can pocket it there. I may think it's easy for him, but he may think otherwise. So as a doubles, we have this understanding, no, I'll go to that one first. There are some basic rules we all follow, like, queen, if you see a queen, you take the queen. Doesn't require an understanding. But strengths and weaknesses of your partner helps in doubles. And it matters, because no two players are the same. Every player has a different approach to the game. Every player has their own strengths, own weaknesses, whether it's straight pocketing or creative shots or technical shots. And as you get to play, you'll see the balance. So it's not just for doubles. As you play in the Bay Area or anywhere, you'll actually know, okay, Ashok is a very technical player. So I can't assume that I'll block a coin for him and he will not miss. He will actually find a way to get around it. And then I'll say, okay, Guru is a very straight pocketer. You cannot give him an open board. If you give him, he will just finish everything. So you have to block him. So you come up with strategies not just for your doubles partner, but for your opponents that you have played against, because they all have their strengths, they all have their weaknesses. So over time, you say, okay, I'm going to play against Madhu, I'll play a different strategy. I play against Chandu, I'll have a different strategy. So, it matters. It matters knowing people's strengths, people's weaknesses, and not just your partner, but also your opponents. No two players are the same. So the worst case scenario is when there's a new player and you don't know how good that player is, or how, what their strengths are, their weaknesses are, and you're flying blind. So you just have to come up with, okay, I'm going to spend the first 2 boards understanding what their strengths are. And the board number 3, I'll try to adapt my game. You're compressed from time, but you still have to do that. Let me quickly take a look at.
I have one more question.
Yeah, sure.
So, can you use all of your fingers to?
Good question.
Some do that.
Yeah. So technically, there's a difference between hitting versus pushing. So it doesn't matter which finger or how you use it. You can hit, you cannot push. So I think that the technical term is like strike versus push, or flick versus push. So for example, this is a flick allowed, but if I go, it's a subtle difference, but you can. So for example, when I try to hit hard, some people will go. So sometimes it's hard for the umpire to tell the difference, and you may get away with it. But if you keep doing it over and over, then so you want to form good habits. You want to form good habits where you don't do this. You always touch the lines. So even the most experienced player playing in a World Cup final, you'll see them doing this. They'll actually check before they play. So let's say it's my turn and I am the current world champion. There is no shame in putting my striker, checking, and then play. Highly encouraged. Make a habit. Because you don't want to be called a foul, just in case you make a mistake. Same, pushing, don't form bad habits. Talking is another habit. Please don't form that bad habit. Even in your recreational sessions, try to maintain those competitive rules, right? What we do often in recreational is, we may not call the strictest of fouls, but we try to make sure that people don't get away with the most egregious fouls. We will call it, because you're actually doing your opponent a disservice if you don't.
For foul, what is the penalty?
Good question. So the most simple foul is a striker being pocketed, 1 coin comes up.
Talking, other things, what you said.
Yeah. So in general, talking is a foul, 1 coin comes up. There are some nuances around when the timing of the shot, when did you play, so do you talk while playing or before playing, after playing, but typically a foul is 1 coin comes up. And if you have all coins on the board, due. So once you pocket, that coin will come up. But yeah, typical foul is that. There are some very egregious fouls where you may have to forfeit the entire game. For example, if you're playing and then you suddenly decide that you want to take your phone call, your phone is ringing over there, you walk over to get your phone call, the umpire can tell, okay, you're done. So when you come to play competitive carrom, please turn off your phones.
Can you take the phone while sitting?
You can, you are encouraged not to. But again, it's a serious game.
Yeah.
Again, I'll go back to chess. If you're playing a game of chess, you're not allowed to do those things. Carrom is the same. Even though it has the image of a recreational game, competitive carrom, the rules are very similar to what you see in competitive chess. No talking, no communicating with the outside world. You can't ask for advice from your coach. All of those are considered cheating.
After pocketing red, if I pocket other coin, like if I'm playing white, if I pocketed black, do they get that?
No, the queen comes back.
Or if I can still hit it. Like let's say
If you pocket the queen, and in the next row you're playing white, you pocket the white, you're done. If you don't pocket the white, the queen comes back. If you pocket the black, the queen comes back. The black does not come back. You lose your turn.
What if
So you lose your turn.
white, if you pocket both white and black along with the queen?
Good question. So I pocket the queen, and I pocket both of these. The queen is considered covered. Nothing comes back
But
Who gets the turn?
because I did pocket a white, regardless of how many blacks I pocketed in the same stroke.
And what if white goes first and black goes
Doesn't matter. Oh, that's a very important question. Since you're talking about rules and thumbing and everything, the order of coins does not matter. So if I pocket 3 coins in one stroke, which one went first does not matter. So if I pocket the queen and white in the same stroke, it's considered covered even if the white went first. So if I have this situation where this is the last coin on the board, right? This is the situation. I can go like this. If I pocket both, it's covered. So even if I miss this, the queen is not coming back. Doesn't matter if the red went first.
So you also mentioned let's say you are playing white, then you pocket the red, then instead of pocketing white, you pocket black.
Your opponent.
Talking is fine.
But you said you lose it. Why
Yes.
are you
Yeah,
losing
why?
it?
If I'm playing white, if I want to keep my turn, I have to pocket a white on every stroke. The moment I do not pocket a white, my turn goes away. So if I pocket a white and put my striker alongside, I still get a turn. It's a double dip. But if I don't pocket a white in my turn, any second, I lose.
Sorry, repeat again the double duty.
Sure. So let's say, here's the situation. And I basically pocket the queen. Now I have to cover it. And if I go like this and I end up pocketing both, Since I pocketed a white, I still get a turn.
And go.
The white will come back, one more white will come back, and I still get to a chance to cover the queen. Now,
No, queen is not covered.
not yet, because that one came back. Now if I play this and I pocket, queen is covered. If I miss, queen comes back.
I think an easy way to remember is if you, like the rule is, when you pocket your striker, the number of coins that come out is equal to how much ever coins you pocket plus 1. So if you only, let's say, pocket your striker, only 1 coin. If you pocket your striker and a coin, like your coin, so that coin plus another penalty. If you pocket 2 coins and your striker, 2 plus 1, 3. And the only way you get your turn back is when you pocket a coin with your striker. So let's say if you only pocket your striker, you don't get your turn back because you never pocketed a coin. So that's how you remember it.
Okay, I'm going to cover 2 more topics, 5 minutes each, then we'll all get back to our boards and play. I know everyone is itching to play. Sure?
You mentioned that you play a strategy to block his coin.
Okay.
But when you have to hit yours, pocket yours, you can always, if you have to pocket his, so what's the point in blocking his?
Good point. So let's take a situation, let's not take a blocking one, but let's say I have 3 difficult white coins, right? And he has a very simple finish. So, this is the situation. I'm playing white. We'll not talk about blocking in this scenario, we'll talk about how do I make sure that he's not able to finish when he gets a turn. So for example, these are difficult coins. If I go with the approach of trying this out, may or may not go, he has a very simple finish. So a safer shot would be to pocket that white and make this black difficult for him. So I could use what is called a glance shot. A glance is, I'm going to hit the coin really hard, my striker will go here, pocket this guy, the black will go here and come back here. And for him, pocketing a black is not easy. It gives me a little bit of insurance, we call it insurance. You need to always get insurance. Make sure your opponent has at least 1 coin that is difficult, so you will get a turn. Getting a turn is the most important thing you can do. So, typically you will go something like this. So now this is a little more difficult than this. So even if I miss this, there's a reasonable chance I might get a turn back. So you're always trying to get a turn back. So over time, you want to start doing these every shot, not just in the last one. So as advanced players or competitive players, anytime I see such a pattern, I will try to use it. For example, he may not have a finish. Maybe he has these coins, right? Instead of just playing it simply like this, I know this is going for him. Why not make it a little difficult? Why not go sorry, let me try it again. Why not go something like hit the top of the coin, bring it here, and pocket yours at the same time. You get the idea. The idea is to bring this guy somewhere here, and over time you learn these things. You learn that, okay, maybe this is dangerous. Maybe if I hit the top of the coin, it's a little risky. Maybe I should hit the bottom of the coin. Maybe that's a safer shot. Maybe this is better. Bring it here. Don't try to bring it here. Things you learn over time. And what you learn is a lot of these technical shots like brushes, glances, for example, let's say I have to pocket my black. This one. Very easy to do this, but this one is hard. So I might try to do both at the same time. Take this one and make this a little easier. So I will go something like, bring it here, next time it's easier. So these are things that you learn while playing. So when you see competitive players playing, you'll see them employ a lot of these dual intent shots. Take one, make one, take one, block one, take one, and do something creative to buy yourself over.
So if the pawn is this, it's only
By the way, it's
thumbing.
not called a coin, it's called a con.
Con.
Pawn is a chess turn.
So if it's like this, it's always a thumbing that we have to use?
No, you don't. So let me show you a very good shot. So let's say Harish has a simple finish and I don't. These are not going, right? I can take this and then try my luck, or I can do what is called a bomb shot. A bomb shot is when you use this coin to release those coins. And you kind of go really hard. You're trying to release this cluster, make it easier. So these coins are often prized like joker in cards. You know, in card games you have this joker thing. These are called joker coins. They can be extremely useful, extremely so. So if I do this, I'm actually misusing a joker. But if I use this to release my other coins, that's an effective use. So sometimes one joker coin is very valuable, and as an opponent, if I see you have a joker coin, sometimes I will miss a turn just to take that out, because now that is worth 5 points.
So it's always thinking about your coins as well as your opponents.
All the time.
All the time.
So you just
All the time. So a classic mistake we make in recreational is focus on my coin. Competitive, you focus in your opponent's coin. All the time. That's a very big distinction. Once you make the switch mindset to competitive Carrom, you start looking at, does my opponent have a finish or not?
So do you have to understand his strategy?
Yes. But you don't acquire it overnight.
So you go by kind of.
You learn it over time. The more you play, the more you are forced in such situations, the more you see other players doing something like this, you learn.
But isn't that a distraction for your game?
Why would you call it a distraction if you build it as an integral part of your game?
You have to concentrate more on him than.
So what you'll see is, over time, it will come naturally. You'll recognize those patterns. It will not be an extra effort for you to do that. You'll just do that with a quick scan. Initially, scanning the board to understand might take 10 seconds, later 1 second. It's one of those pattern matching things that you develop over time. So for example, if Harish has these two, I know he has a finish. But if he has this, I know he doesn't have a finish. Simple answer. Took me half a second to figure it out. This is easy, this is difficult. You go at that over time. And once you don't try to play on your boards, I encourage you to ask your experts, given a situation, which coin should I play first? The sequence of coins is extremely important. If I have these two, if Harish has a finish like this may seem like the first coin to play, the right shot. It's actually not. The first coin to play, I should actually move that one out. I have to buy myself a turn. What if I miss, right? What if I miss an easy coin? So sequence of coins is very important. You basically want to take that guy out first. Because then even if you miss, it's okay because he's not going to finish. But if I miss this one, he will finish.
It's more than the coins. Turn is important.
Turn is more. Any questions before we go back to books?
Sometimes you intend to hit this, right?
Okay.
But it doesn't touch. Do you get an extra turn?
No, you don't.
She's used to it.
So the rule says, the moment the striker leaves any of the baselines, or it touches a coin. So if you go like this, you still have a turn.
Oh, you still have that?
Because it has not crossed the baseline.
Oh, okay, that's
It has not touched the coin.
Within
The moment it leaves this, is gone. Or even this much, even this much is gone. Bottom line.
So if it remains within this line,
And it hasn't touched the coin.
hasn't touched the coin. Okay, good. Well,
But it's a very common to see that under stress,
miss it.
that's just the last coin, your match point. People, this is very common.
Oh yeah.
Any moment of stress is very common.
Is there a term for the air ball kind of this is almost equivalent to an air ball?
And in Mumbai, where I think most of the Carrom in the world is played, I think there's a term called Vatri. I don't know where it comes from. Don't ask me who the original etymology of the word,
Okay.
but that's what it is. Okay. Any other questions?
Before we start playing, do you want them how to start? I mean, point wise or whatever. They are while playing.
We'll do that on the board.
Okay.
Okay, I encourage you to, sit down and play.
Yes, play
And there will be an
doubles,
expert. On every board, there will be one expert. please ask them questions, especially given a situation, what should I play first?